One of the most interesting shows of the 90s was undoubtedly Twin Peaks. It only ran for 2 seasons in 1990 and 1991, but it gave us one of the most beautiful and iconic television themes of all time, and its composer, Angelo Badalamenti, went through an incredible composition process with the show's creator, David Lynch, to create this iconic theme, and it can teach us a lot about how so many incredible compositions can start from improvisation inspired by a simple idea. This isn't necessarily a new idea. In fact, it's thought that many of the great classical works from composers like Mozart and probably most others were either improvised entirely or improvised to start and then refined, which is kind of exactly what happened here. And learning that skill of improvisation is one entire course in this year's Black Friday course bundle. One of 8 to be exact, and that sale's coming up fast, and this year's gonna be the biggest Black Friday sale we've ever done. 8 courses for $99, but that's not even the whole story. This year is sort of like a pre-sale for the long-awaited release of the upcoming Intro to Piano 2.0. Intro to Piano is my best-selling course ever, which you'll immediately get access to when you pick up the bundle, but it'll soon be replaced by the bigger, better, updated Intro to Piano 2.0, which is coming very soon. Once you have the bundle, you don't have to do anything. The content will be updated automatically. And everyone who owns Intro to Piano right now, or if you happen to pick it up while we're running the pre-sale, you're gonna get automatic access to the new 2.0 course when it comes out. And once 2.0 is out, that course alone is gonna be significantly more expensive than this entire bundle. So definitely jump on the Black Friday sale while we're running it this year. The sale isn't live yet, but you can get some free sneak peeks as well as a reminder when the sale does go live by following the link in the description down below or scanning the QR code and signing up. It's completely free to sign up. I'll send you some cool stuff and you'll be the first to know when the sale goes live. Black Friday through Cyber Monday, and guys, this is the way that I support the content on this channel. These videos aren't sponsored by anyone other than, I guess, me, and by you in your desire to learn how to play music. So your support really does mean the world to me. I appreciate it so much. Use that link and sign up for the reminder and get some free stuff. But to dive into this theme, check this out. Oh, it's so dark. So we're just sitting here we're in C minor. Now, the only thing we're doing here is we're utilizing the flat 6th as our sort of, almost like a melody note that resolves to that C minor. Here it kind of wants to pull down and sit on that G right there. This is all coming from the C natural minor scale. Let's start with a major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that brings us back to 1. Now, we can make some alterations to this to arrive at C natural minor. Those alterations are, we're gonna have a flat 3. We take that naturally occurring third and we move it down by a half step. Flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and that brings us back. And that gives us C natural minor. And by utilizing the notes of C natural minor, we can derive this beautiful melody. There's our flat 6 and our 5. So simple, right? Beautiful, dark, sad in a way, haunting above all else though. And then after allowing this theme to develop for quite some time, we finally get a new place. Whoa! And then you go somewhere completely different that you were not expecting at all. And if you think you've got it figured out by this point, you definitely don't, because listen to this. Somewhere new again. That whole transition there is stunningly beautiful. So we've been sitting on this C minor, and then we let that sit there for quite some time until finally we develop it. And then switch it to C major, right? But it only starts there because, wow. E major. So we go from C major and we jump up a major third to play E major. And our melody uses that beautiful sharp 11. It's kind of mysterious. It's like perfect for like a mystery horror type of show, right? Sharp 11 to the 5, 3, sharp 4, 5. Then we keep working up the scale. Then we get a resolution to somewhere totally different now. We've gone from C major to E major, and now we get an F minor. Resolution. It's not even a resolution, right? It's like, where are we now? I have no idea. And then we keep building up this melody. Back to C major. Tell me that's not one of the most interesting chord progressions, right? We went from C major to E major to F minor to C major. What? Unconventional, but stunningly beautiful. Now let's check out where we go from here. Now, yeah, we're gonna get this beautiful A minor, and now we're gonna enter into much more conventional chord progression. There's an F major chord, but we let it hang on this. Those two notes right there. It's almost like a G over an F, right? Before letting it actually fall to F. Still on F major. Yeah. Ooh, and then right back to C minor. Now notice, the first time around we went from F minor to C major. This time we're going from F major to C minor. It's kind of like the opposite in a way, and then we're just back into the C minor theme. So that's basically the tune. That is the breakdown of what's going on in terms of the harmony and the chord progression here. What I think is fascinating about this theme is how it was written. And it was written entirely as an improvisation based on a premise. Check this out.
And David would sit right over here, right to the right of me, and we would put a little cassette just about over here on this keyboard, just keep it in record and just keep it playing. David would sit here and I'd say, well, what do you see, David? Just talk to me. And David would say, okay, Angelo, we're in a dark woods now. There's a soft wind blowing through some sycamore trees, and there's a moon out, and there's some animal sounds in the background, and you can hear the hoot of an owl, and you're in the dark woods. You know, just get me into that beautiful darkness with the soft wind. And I started playing. And David would say, Angelo, that's great.
So this is really fascinating, and one of the reasons why it's particularly fascinating to me is because part of my development as a pianist that I remember, especially when it came to like improvisation, there was a great lesson that I was taught by my jazz teacher when I was in high school. I started studying with her when I was 13 years old. She was a great pianist by the name of Lee Shaw. And one of the things she taught me one time, it was actually kind of hilarious because I had no idea what the goal was here, but she turned to me one time and she said, you live on a farm where you have woods, right? And I said, yeah. She said, okay, so you're in the woods and you're looking around and you see a squirrel. And the squirrel is running across the ground and climbs up a tree. And she's like, play the squirrels. And 13, 14-year-old me, I'm like, what? And so the first thing I thought to do was go, oh, okay, well, I mean, I don't know, like what's like a woods theme, right? Like what's a nice, oh, okay, I've got... And I started playing something like that. And she stopped me immediately and she goes, no. She gets up and boots me out of the way and she goes, play the squirrels. And I'm like, what? She literally wanted me to play the musical, physical manifestation of what squirrels do. They stop, and they run, and they stop again, and then they run, and then they climb a tree or something, right? And the lesson here was like, get this preconceived notion of what it's supposed to sound like out of your head. What I was trying to do, I was trying to play the soundtrack for that scene that she was trying to get me to understand, not the actual thing. There's a huge difference there, and that difference is very important when you are learning the basics of improvisation. Now, in that scenario, what David Lynch was trying to describe to Angelo here was a scene much the same as Lee Shaw was describing to me. But what you didn't see Angelo do is play the wind, literally, like maybe this humming, the wind through the trees at all different pitches as the leaves hit each other, and then maybe the call of an animal in the dark or something like that. That's not quite what he was doing. Here's where all of this comes together. We have to get the ideas of what's supposed to sound good out of our head before we're able to come up with something entirely new that is pure to what we feel and what we think and what we hear as musicians. It is very easy for us to get stuck in this idea of like, well, I know that this chord can go to this chord, can go to this chord, can go to this chord. That's correct harmony, right? But that's not always particularly useful when we're trying to compose something unique. Now, is the goal to play that random atonal, bizarre smacking of the piano? Of course not. But it helps us get rid of that tendency to want to play the things that we know are correct. Once we do that, now we can start to utilize our knowledge of harmony and chords to begin to construct things that do sound like something that makes sense to us harmonically, but that is not bounded by the things that we already know how to do that might otherwise keep us locked in certain harmonic progressions that we've heard in other things. It's this process of trying to create new things. That's what Angelo is utilizing here. Yes, it's improvisation that is harnessed by harmony and by things that work. He's playing these beautiful dark chords. But what he's not doing is playing a chord progression that he's heard somewhere or learned somewhere that he knows is technically correct and that works. He's instead allowing the description that David Lynch is giving him of what this scene is supposed to be and creating something that sounds good, but that is unbounded by any preconceived notion of what it's supposed to be.
Then he would say, okay, Angelo, now we got to make a change because from behind a tree in the back of the woods, there's this very lonely girl. Her name is Laura Palmer, and it's very sad, but get something that matches her. And I just segued into this. And he'd say, well, that's it. It's very beautiful. I could see her. And she's walking towards the camera and she's coming closer. Just keep building it. Just keep building it. And she's getting close. Now reach some kind of climax. And I would go, and he said, oh, that's it. Oh, that's so beautiful. Angelo. Oh, that's tearing my heart out. I love that. Just keep that going. Now she's starting to leave. So fall down. Keep falling. Keep falling. Keep falling. Now go back into the dark woods.
Wow. Yeah. So what you'll see Angelo do here is utilize some conventional harmony. I mean, very clearly when he reaches that that's all extremely conventional harmony. And it is perfectly valid as a composer to make a choice to use that anytime that you think it's needed. And in this particular case, he obviously felt that it was the right choice to create the tone of this environment that David Lynch was describing to him. What you are witnessing is how iconic compositions can come to be purely from improvisation. If you felt compelled to stick so concretely to the things that you already know, the chord progressions that you know work, there's no way you would ever come up with something that sounds like that series of chords is not as simple as just going or some other 4-chord conventional thing that we already know works. You have to allow yourself to be unbounded by those limitations. And Angelo Badalamente's process for writing Laura Palmer's theme is a perfect example of this in the real world. I was blown away by how beautiful this theme is, and I really just wanted to break it down and talk about some of those limitations that I had to learn how to let go of when I was learning to improvise. And those are the exact tactics that Angelo Badalamente used, this improvisation approach to composition to create one of the most iconic themes and one of the most beautiful themes of the 90s. So I wanted to share that with you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.